The mountain stood tall, a giant of rock and ice reaching up to touch the heavens. Pure white snow covered its peak, glistening under the bright sun. Aria stood at its base, feeling small and insignificant against the vastness of nature. It was so quiet here, a silence that was almost deafening. The air was crisp and cold, biting at her skin. This was her challenge, her test of endurance. This was her path to peace, a journey she had longed to undertake. Aria took a deep breath, feeling the thin, cold air fill her lungs. But it felt clean, untouched by the chaos of the world below. This mountain, they called it the Mountain of Eternal Silence, a place of profound stillness. She was here to find that silence, to escape the noise of her everyday life, to find it within herself, to discover a deeper sense of peace and clarity. The climb was hard. Every step was a battle against the cold and the steep slopes. But Aria pushed on. She wanted to feel the silence, to leave the noise of the world behind. As she climbed, the sounds of life faded. The only sounds were her breath and the crunch of snow. There was a strange beauty in that. In the emptiness, she felt a sense of peace growing. Aria found a flat rock surrounded by snow, a perfect place to rest. She sat down, closed her eyes, and breathed. The silence was profound. In the quiet, thoughts came. Thoughts about her life, her worries, her dreams. But she let them drift by. She focused on the silence. It was like a mirror reflecting everything inside her. The higher she climbed, the tougher it got. The air grew thinner, making each breath a challenge. The wind howled like a wild animal, relentless and fierce. One day, a storm trapped her in a cave, its icy fingers reaching for her. Fear threatened to consume her, wrapping around her like a shroud. But Aria remembered the silence. She closed her eyes, breathed deeply, and found peace within the storm. She realized fear was like the wind, powerful but fleeting. Silence was the mountain, always there, strong and steady. As she sat in the cave, she thought about her journey, the obstacles she had overcome, and the strength she had discovered within herself. The storm outside raged on, but inside she was calm, ready to face whatever came next. Aria knew that the trials on the ascent were shaping her into someone unbreakable. Finally, Aria reached the summit. The world stretched out below, a sea of white peaks. But it was the silence that took her breath away, a profound, eternal silence. She stood there for a long time, feeling the wind and the sun. She had never felt so small, yet so connected to everything. The silence had washed away her doubts, her fears, her worries. All that was left was peace, a deep, unshakable peace. As she gazed out over the endless expanse, she felt a sense of accomplishment. The journey had been arduous, filled with challenges and moments of doubt. But standing there at the pinnacle, it all seemed worth it. The crisp air filled her lungs, invigorating her spirit. She closed her eyes, letting the tranquility seep into her very being. The summit was not just a physical destination, but a place of inner stillness. Here she found clarity, a renewed sense of purpose. The mountains whispered ancient secrets, and in that moment Aria felt truly alive. The descent was easier. Aria moved with a newfound lightness. The world seemed brighter, sharper. The silence was no longer empty, it was full of possibilities. Aria knew the silence would always be with her now, a source of strength and wisdom. She had climbed the mountain of eternal silence, and she had found herself.
Please subscribe for more spirit stories.